When we talk about language, people usually think on Dutch, English, Chinese, Turkish, etc. These are all spoken languages. But what about sign languages? Sign languages are real and natural languages. As you can see, it's all about the hands, the body, the space in front of the signer, as well as facial expressions. So what's the project about? Well, we look at sign language processing. Why are sign languages so interesting? Well, in certain domains, sign and spoken languages differ radically from each other because they're so visual. So let's look at an example. We have a cup and a pen here, and they're in a spatial relation to each other. So spoken languages would use the word left to express the relation between this pen and the cup, so where the pen is placed in relation to the cup. In sign languages, this is much more visual. So let's just look at Tom. He will sign how you do it in sign language in the Netherlands. Yeah. And you can see that Tom chooses certain hand shapes to represent the cup and the pen and mirrors the spatial situation onto the signing space. So these form-to-meaning mappings we call iconicity. So what we are interested in is the relation between those iconic production patterns and eye gaze. So thus describing something like this versus saying an arbitrary word like left makes you look at these spatial relations differently. To find this out, I show signers and speakers 4 pictures on the screen, and I have to describe one of them. Precisely the one at which the arrow points at. With a little camera in front of them, I can track with infrared light where on the screen they look at. So we want to see at which picture participants look and how often they look at it, and compare this between signers and speakers, based on the different strategies they describe those pictures in their own language. So our experiment is a bit like you're in a museum, let's say the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, and you are the guide. So there is a wall with many pictures on it, and you need to describe one of them to the crowd in front of you. So there's one picture that shows, for example, a cup, a cute little cup, and a pen to the left of it. Then there's another picture where you see the mirroring image, so where the pen is to the right of the cup. There are also other pictures, but they are just there to distract you. So you have to describe the first picture, where the pen is to the left of the cup, to your group of visitors. At which picture would you look the most? My Dutch non-signing participants looked mostly at the picture they had to describe, because that's all they needed to say whether the pen is to the left or the right side of the cup. What is interesting is that my deaf signing participants looked at the other contrasting picture more compared to the one they actually had to describe. So why do my signing participants look more at the other picture they actually don't need to describe? Well, to plan to describe the pen is to the left of the cup, they need to decide between this and this. And this really looks like the contrasting pictures. It really mirrors the spatial situation. So that's why they need to look back and forth and might look more at the contrasting picture than the actual picture they have to describe. For speakers, this might be less relevant for their arbitrary encoding of left-right. This look just more at the picture they actually have to describe. So what we found is that describing something or describing spatial relations in a very iconic way guides your attention to those spatial relations differently than the arbitrary encodings in spoken languages do. That's eye-opening, isn't it?